Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the English Hustle podcast. I'm Alex, and I'm here with Maria. We're so glad you could join us today.
Yes, thank you for tuning in. Today we're diving into a topic that's close to many of our hearts, achieving work-life harmony.
We all know how challenging it can be to juggle work responsibilities and personal life, especially when it feels like there's never enough time in the day.
Absolutely. Balancing work and life isn't just about dividing time between the two. It's about finding a harmonious blend that promotes overall well-being and long-term success.
Right. And today, we'll also touch on the difference between the traditional idea of work-life balance and the more holistic concept of work-life harmony. It's going to be an insightful conversation.
So, what can you expect in today's episode? Well, we'll start by discussing some of the common challenges people face when trying to achieve work-life harmony.
Then, we'll explore various strategies you can use to create a better balance between your work and personal life. We've got some practical tips that we think you'll find really useful.
We'll also share some of our personal experiences and stories to illustrate how work-life harmony has impacted our lives.
And of course, we'll wrap up with actionable steps you can start taking today to achieve better harmony in your own life. So, stay with us, and let's get started. Now, let's dive into some key vocabulary that will help you better understand and talk about work-life harmony.
We've selected 10 words that are crucial to this topic. Let's start with boundaries. Boundaries are the limits we set to protect our time and energy. For example, setting a boundary might mean not checking work emails after 7 p.m.
Another important word is flexibility. Flexibility refers to the ability to adapt to changing circumstances, which is essential for maintaining harmony between work and personal life. For instance, working from home offers flexibility that can help you manage your time better.
We also have prioritization. This is about deciding what's most important to you and focusing your efforts there. If spending time with family is your top priority, you might need to adjust your work schedule accordingly.
Don't forget well-being. Well-being encompasses your physical, mental, and emotional health. Achieving work-life harmony often means making time for activities that support your well-being, like exercise or hobbies.
Another key term is integration. Integration is the idea of blending work and life in a way that they complement each other, rather than competing for your attention. For example, attending a work meeting while taking a walk in the park.
We'll also touch on words like mindfulness, resilience, and self-care, all of which play a role in how we approach and maintain work-life harmony. We'll provide simple definitions, examples, and tips on pronunciation.
Now that we've introduced these words, let's practice using them.
We encourage you to create sentences with these words. For example, you could say, I set clear boundaries to maintain my well-being.
If you're following along at home, try writing or saying a sentence out loud with each word. For instance, flexibility in my work schedule helps me prioritize my family.
We'll give you a moment to think of your sentences. And remember, it's okay if it takes a few tries. Practice is how we learn.
We'll also offer some feedback on common mistakes. For example, a lot of people might confuse prioritization with time management. While they're related, prioritization is more about deciding what's most important.
Finally, take this time to repeat and practice the words. Repetition helps reinforce learning, so don't be shy about saying them out loud. Let's dive into today's topic: work-life harmony. This is something that's really important to both of us, especially in today's fast-paced world where it can feel like work never really ends.
Absolutely, Alex. Work-life harmony is more than just balancing work and personal time. It's about making sure that both complement each other rather than compete. Let's share some personal stories on this.
Sure. Maria. For me, there was a time when I was working late almost every night. It wasn't just affecting my productivity at work, but my personal relationships were suffering too. It felt like I was always missing out on important moments at home.
I can relate. For me, setting boundaries was key. I realized that I needed to be present during family dinners, so I made it a rule. No work calls after 6 p.m. This small change had a huge impact on my work-life harmony.
It's interesting how such small adjustments can lead to big improvements. Another important aspect of work-life harmony is understanding your personal values. What's really important to you? For me, it's about spending quality time with family.
And for me, it's about having the energy to pursue my hobbies outside of work. It's all about prioritization and knowing when to say no. We'll talk more about these strategies in a bit.
I'd like to share a story that might resonate with our listeners. A few years ago, I was constantly stressed and felt like I was always playing catch-up, both at work and at home. My days started early, and they ended late, leaving me exhausted. One day, I decided to make a small change. Every morning, I took 15 minutes to plan my day, prioritizing tasks not just for work, but also for my personal life. This simple routine helped me to align my daily activities with my values and gradually brought more harmony into my life. The impact was profound. My stress levels dropped, my productivity increased, and I had more quality time with my family. This experience taught me that sometimes it's not about doing more, but about doing what really matters.
That's a great story, Alex, and it really shows how small changes can make a big difference. Now, let's talk about some strategies that our listeners can apply in their own lives.
One strategy that's worked well for me is scheduling downtime. Whether it's a walk in the park, a coffee break, or just reading a book, having that time blocked out in my schedule helps me recharge.
Another important strategy is communicating your needs at work. Let your employer know what you need to maintain work-life harmony. It could be flexible hours or the ability to work from home occasionally.
Involving family in decision-making processes is also crucial. When everyone's on the same page, it's easier to balance work and personal commitments.
And don't forget about technology. Use tools like calendar apps to plan and keep track of your work and personal life. But also, know when to unplug.
Implementing these strategies might take time, but the key is to be consistent and to adjust as needed. Work-life harmony is a dynamic process that evolves with your life. Did you know that according to a recent study, employees who achieve work-life harmony are 21% more productive than those who don't? It's amazing how balancing work and personal life can lead to better outcomes at work.
That's right, Alex. And it's not just about productivity. Research shows that employees with good work-life harmony are 50% less likely to suffer from burnout and are generally happier with their jobs.
Another interesting fact is that companies that promote work-life harmony have 25% lower employee turnover rates. This shows how crucial it is for both individuals and organizations to focus on this.
It's also been found that people who maintain work-life harmony report higher levels of mental well-being and physical health. So it's not just about work, it's about living a healthier life overall.
These facts highlight why it's so important to strive for work-life harmony. It's not just a personal issue, it's something that can have a significant impact on your career, health, and happiness.
Now, we'd love to hear from our listeners. What are some of your tips or experiences with achieving work-life harmony?
We've already got a few comments coming in. Let's take a look at what people are saying.
Here's a comment from Sarah. She says, I find that setting clear boundaries with my work hours has helped me a lot. I make sure to log off by 6 p.m. and spend the evening with my family.
That's a great strategy, Sarah. Thanks for sharing.
And here's another one from James. He mentions, incorporating regular exercise into my routine has been a game changer. It helps me stay focused at work and energized at home.
Exercise is definitely a key part of maintaining balance. Thanks, James, for your input.
We really appreciate everyone's contributions. Keep those comments coming, and we'll try to respond to as many as we can during the episode.
Maria, I've been struggling to maintain my boundaries between work and personal life lately. It feels like work is taking over everything.
I understand, Alex. It's important to establish clear boundaries. Have you tried setting specific work hours and sticking to them?
I've thought about it, but it's hard to be strict with my time when there's always something more to do.
That's where prioritization comes in. It's crucial to identify what's most important and focus on that, both in your work and personal life.
You're right. Maybe I need to reassess how I'm managing my time. What about flexibility? How do you incorporate that without losing structure?
Flexibility is key, but it's all about balance. You can be flexible with how you manage your tasks, but having a routine or framework helps keep everything in harmony.
So, it's about being flexible with the details, but consistent with the overall plan.
Exactly. And remember, your well-being should always be a priority. Taking breaks and allowing yourself time to recharge is essential.
Thanks, Maria. I'll work on integrating these ideas. It's all about finding that harmony, right?
Absolutely, Alex. And the more you practice setting boundaries and prioritizing your tasks, the easier it will become.
So, listeners, did you catch how we used key terms like boundaries, flexibility, and prioritization in our conversation?
These concepts are crucial in achieving work-life harmony. Let's break down the dialogue a bit more.
For example, when I mentioned struggling with boundaries, Maria suggested setting specific work hours. This is a practical way to ensure work doesn't spill into personal time.
And when Alex asked about flexibility, we discussed how it's important to be adaptable, but also maintain a routine. This balance is what creates harmony.
Now, we encourage you to practice this dialogue with a friend, or even by yourself. Focus on using these vocabulary words in a way that's relevant to your own work-life balance.
And don't forget to repeat the sentences and phrases as we go along. The more you practice, the more natural it will feel to incorporate these concepts into your daily life.
Let's start by setting some personal boundaries. Think about one area in your life where work tends to bleed into your personal time. It could be answering emails after hours or taking work calls during family time.
Write down a boundary you'd like to establish. For example, I will stop checking work emails after 7 p.m. This boundary will help create a clear line between work and personal time.
Now, take a moment to think about how you'll communicate this boundary to others, whether it's to your boss, colleagues, or family members.
Next, let's work on creating a balanced weekly schedule. Start by listing out all your work tasks and personal activities for the week.
As you plan your week, ensure you're allocating time not just for work, but also for relaxation, exercise, and hobbies. Remember, work-life harmony is about integrating all aspects of your life.
Once you've drafted your schedule, review it. Are you giving yourself enough time to unwind? Are there any adjustments you can make to improve your balance?
Now, let's identify areas where you can improve your work-life harmony. Reflect on your current routine. What's working well and what's not.
Maybe you're struggling with saying no to extra work, or perhaps you find it difficult to fully disconnect during your downtime. Write down 2 areas where you want to make a change.
For each area, brainstorm 1 or 2 small steps you can take to improve. It could be as simple as scheduling a daily walk or setting a timer to remind you to take breaks.
Feel free to pause the episode here to complete each activity. Taking the time to reflect and plan is key to making lasting changes.
And remember, work-life harmony is an ongoing process. The more you practice these strategies, the easier it will become to maintain balance in your life. As we wrap up today's episode, let's quickly revisit the main points we covered.
We talked about the concept of work-life harmony and how it's different from work-life balance. We shared some personal experiences and discussed the importance of setting boundaries, managing time effectively, and integrating work with personal values.
We also explored practical strategies for achieving this harmony, such as creating a balanced schedule and setting clear boundaries.
And don't forget the vocabulary highlights we discussed earlier. These are key terms that can help you better understand and apply the concepts of work-life harmony.
Achieving work-life harmony is a journey, not a destination. It's about making continuous adjustments to ensure both your work and personal life are fulfilling.
Remember, it's okay to start small. Even a simple change like setting aside time for yourself each day can make a big difference. The key is to stay mindful and proactive.
We encourage you to reflect on what we've discussed today and start taking those small, actionable steps toward better harmony in your life.
If you found this episode helpful, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the English Hustle podcast.
We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment or question below about your experiences with work-life harmony, and let us know if there are any topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes.
And don't forget, apply what you've learned today. Start with one small step and share your progress with us in the comments. We're all on this journey together.